Mr. Chair, we are showing past 1 o'clock and we appear to have a quorum.
All righty, sir. All right, it is 1:05 p.m. here on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, and we'll call this meeting of the Mesilla Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization Governing Board to order. If you're able to, please join me and rise in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I know I took that a little out of order. I forget. I'm so used to the way we do this here for the county, so I'll do a quick roll call if that's okay, unless you.
No, that's fine, Mr. Chair. Trustee Garcia?
Present.
Trustee Johnson-Burek?
Here.
Councilor Harris? Commissioner Gaberos?
Here.
Mr. Love?
Here.
Mr. Chair, we do have quorum.
Excellent. All right, we're on to agenda item number 3, which is the conflict of interest inquiry. I just want to make sure if there's any board members, if they have any or known perceived conflict of interest with any item on the agenda. If I can get a yes or a no?
None here.
Okay.
None.
None.
Very good. All right, we're on to public comment. I know members of the public, I'd like to invite you up to speak. And if you can, for the record, please state your name.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, MPO committee members. Okay. My name is Longino Bustillos, and I am a member of the BPAC committee. However, I am not representing the BPAC committee here today. I am the treasurer for the Vulnerable Road Users of New Mexico. I am representing them here today. I am an expert in data analysis. So I know there's been a lot of discussion on safety reports, but I just kind of wanted to bring up that, and you don't need to be an expert to see what's happening in New Mexico as far as crash data, injuries, and fatalities. You can see the vulnerable road users, the percentage getting injured and fatally hurt, fatalities is increasing. There's nothing in there, but I am also an avid bike riding. I figure in the last 10 years, I've done anywhere from 85 to 95,000 miles here in our MPO community. I know all our roads by heart. Sometimes you come across drivers that yell at you, scream at you. I've had people trying to run me off the road. Bikes shouldn't be on the road. The vulnerable users is what we do is we go into driver's ed courses and teach these new drivers that the roads are for our whole community, for everybody. Their bikes, e-bikes. We're all getting around, and they need to be not driving distracted. We ask them to take a don't drive distracted pledge, and we have like a 70%. We go to 400 or 500 students a year. The other portion of it that I want to mention is that as I ride some of these roads, the speed limit's 35, 45, 50 miles an hour, and the bike lane goes from very tiny to very big. And I don't know so I've had several, I have lots of tons of stories, but if you want to experience something, try going someplace where it's narrow and there's a 50 mile and get somebody you trust and have them, I don't know, it says share the road, but they think it means share the lane. So have somebody you trust go by you at the speed limit, 50 miles an hour, and you're in the same lane. It's not a very pleasant experience. And when I look at this data with more e-bikes and scooters, and they're just more vulnerable users on the road, I just think that our roads have to be designed a little bit, to account for that, for more people being on the road. And I know that the MPO is not the vehicle for doing this, but our organization wants to promote change. And even with these safety reports that we're doing, trying to set targets, and the main thing is we need to keep back in our mind, how do we make our community roads safe? Because I love it here, and I love biking. And today I rode 30 miles in beautiful weather. You can't beat this. So I just want to get that that thought in everyone's head, because we all know somebody who can make an impact, make a difference. If we can implement change, we can start it and grow it from there. So thank you very much for hearing me today.
Thank you so much. Is there any other public input? All right. Next item on the agenda is our approval of agenda. If I can get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'll go with the motion by trustee Johnson Burek, a second by Commissioner Gameros. Are there any changes or modifications to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Then with that, take a roll call vote.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamados,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Excellent. Next order of business is our election of officers. I know this, as we kind of noted prior to the meeting, if we follow the norms that we have this year, the chairmanship will go to the town of Mesilla, and the vice chair would be a representative of the city of Las Cruces. So with that, I'll open up the floor for nominations of, first, we'll start with the nomination of the chair, and then we'll go to the vice chair. So I'd like to open the floor for a nomination for chair.
I would nominate Mayor Russell Hernandez for chair.
Okay, we have a nomination for Mayor Russell Hernandez. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Not hearing or seeing any, so what I'll do, if, I don't know, Andrew, do we want to do a roll call, or can we do this by affirmation?
No, Mr. Chair, we must do this by roll call.
Okay.
Point of order. We do need a second.
Technically, you do not, because as per Robert's Rules of Order, the nomination's on the floor, the vote is essentially a second to that nomination.
Interesting. I had never heard that one before.
If we want, we can do a second, but
We have historically done seconds. I think it would be, I mean, we have our attorney here.
I'll open it up, because like I said, generally, if you have more than one nomination, you don't necessarily need the second. It's the votes that count, and essentially that's the way that I've always understood it.
Mr. Chair, you're legally correct. It's funny how hard it is for organizations to do it because it's out of the normal course. And I think it's not uncommon for people to do seconds. And usually I just keep quiet because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah.
But you're spot on.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Audio, for that. All right, so I guess, are we ready for a roll call?
Yes.
All right. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek.
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamados,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
All right, so we now have, the new chair will be Mayor Hernandez. I know he's not here, so we'll have to, he'll be surprised when he gets here. But in his absence, I guess I'll continue on for now, and we'll move on for nominations of vice chair. So I'd like to open up, as I said, this is for the city of Las Cruces. Counselor Harris, I know you get to, I don't know if we want to nominate somebody else from the city of Las Cruces, or if you would like to, if you would be willing to serve as our vice chair.
Sure.
All right, I'd like to nominate Counselor Harris as the vice chair for the MPO. Are there any other nominations? Okay, then I'll ask for a roll call vote on Counselor Harris for vice chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek.
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamados,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you, congratulations, and thank you for serving. I do have to just let the board know, I do have a conflict at 1:30, so I don't know.
Mr. Chair, technically speaking, you now no longer have a right to the gavel. It's got to
That's
be,
what I was going to ask, is
it's
make
got
the
to be Counselor
recommendation.
Harris now.
Okay.
All right, I guess is that all the officers that we need to elect?
That is all the officers, Mr. Chair.
Great, then I guess we'll move on to item 7, election of executive committees.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the benefit of our new members who are here with us today, the Executive Committee serves, as the name implies, as sort of the executive arm of the board to work more directly on a consistent basis with MPO staff on development of various matters that may come before the board where we need active engagement on the political level. Usually, historically, it comes in the form of drafting of documents such as the recent JPA and MOA between the MPO and the City of Las Cruces. The Executive Committee is also currently working on the MPO bylaws in preparation of presenting those revisions to the board as a whole. And we're also working, the Executive Committee is also working on drafts for an MOA between the MPO, the State of New Mexico, the South Central Regional Transit District, and the City of Las Cruces and Roadrunner Transit. So it is a bit of a responsibility. We do have periodic meetings throughout the year. And good news, 3/4 of the Executive Committee is already designated via the chair and vice chair and NMDOT representation. So what we need functionally today or right now is we need who is going to serve on the Executive Committee from Doña County, who is out of office this year. So if I could, though, for completeness' sake, whoever it is who makes a nomination for the Executive Committee to please state that Mayor Hernandez will be on the Executive Committee from the town, Councilor Harris will be on the Executive Committee from the city, whoever it is will be on the Executive Committee from Doña County, and then Mr. Aaron Chavarria, who is unfortunately not with us today, but that Mr. Chavarria will serve on the Executive Committee from NMDOT. So with that, Mr. Chair, I stand for any questions.
Can I just ask a question on this? When do they meet? What day and time? Because I got to see whether it conflicts with my other board meetings.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gameros, we do not have a set schedule for the Executive Committee meetings. There's no specific set date and time. It's very much on an as-needed basis, and I coordinate with the members of the Executive Committee on finding a date and time that that suits them. I guess one other point about the Executive Committee is it's deliberately designed to be not a quorum of the board, so that way we have liberty to have the meetings without triggering any quorum protocols or anything like that. So, but we don't have a set schedule. It's just from an official standpoint, it's at the pleasure of the chair, the MPO chair, as to when we get called.
Okay, thank you for that. Doesn't matter.
All right, then, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the Executive Committee be made up of Chair Russell Hernandez, Vice Chair Harris, and then from NMDOT, Mr. Aaron Chavarria, and from Doña County, Commissioner Gameros.
Any other motions?
Do we need to second that one since it's the executive committee and not?
It'd be more comfortable that way, probably.
Okay.
Madam
I
Trustee.
second that.
All right. I guess we'll take a roll call.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gameros.
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes. So we have our Executive Committee for this year.
All right. With that, I guess we'll move on to item 8, approval of the minutes from the December 10th, 2025 meeting.
So moved?
Second, Sanchez.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gameros,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
All right. Moving on to item 9, action items, and 9.1, resolution 26-01, resolution certifying compliance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act for calendar year 2026 by the Mesilla Valley MPO.
So moved, trustee Johnson Burek.
Second, Commissioner Sanchez.
All right. So we'll take the presentation.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We're very pleased and honored to have with us today Mr. Randy Audio. He is the head of the New Mexico Local Government Law Firm, and he serves as legal counsel for the Mesilla Valley MPO, and he'll be giving this presentation.
Chair, board members, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. It's a beautiful building. I hadn't been in your new commission chambers yet, so it's a nice, very nice place to be. I'm not going to go into much detail on this because you all serve on other boards, you've all received training, and you've all operated under the Open Meetings Act. What this resolution does is maintain the same process that you've had in place previously, typically a 72-hour agenda posting, 10 days notice ahead of the meeting. And so there's nothing that's changing dramatically. I just wanted to highlight a couple things just to remind you to watch those rolling quorums when you're dealing with matters that last for several meetings. It's real easy to get into either an email discussion or a telephone discussion with folks about those things, and just do not do that. Do your business within the meeting. One thing that has happened recently with the more technology that comes along, people are starting to do IPRAs for cell phones for purposes of determining whether there's communications conducted during meetings off the record. So if you're texting one another during a meeting, that is a rolling quorum, potentially. And it's also communications outside of the public meeting. So you shouldn't have those private conversations through any electronic device during meetings. So it's just good to make a note of. And I would advise to use your, if you have phones from your local governments, use them for this business as well, because you get into that situation. If there's an IPRA for your personal cell phone, that's always unfortunate and a hassle. And if you don't have those cell phones, then my rule of thumb is don't put anything in an email or text that you wouldn't want your mother to see. So just keep it at that and you should be okay. So the other thing, the MPO this year is going, it's now its own IPRA records custodian. Used to be the city. Now we are our own custodian. So that's going to be a change of matters. So all of the records that this organization creates are going to be held through the organization. So just a change to note. And again, I didn't have any other specific issues to bring up with you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions?
Thank you so much. Good to meet you all. And myself and Robert Kidd, who works in my office, will be helping you guys out whenever you need any help. And feel free to get our contact information from Andrew if you have questions. And when you have that situation that arises that you feel there may be a conflict, talk about it before the meeting with us, and then we can talk it through and usually resolve it. So, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Chair, are we ready for a roll call?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burek?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gomeros?
Yes.
Mr. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
All right, moving on to item 9.2, Resolution 26-02, resolution amending the FY 2024 to 2029 Transportation Improvement Program.
Move to approve, Sanchez.
Second, trustee Johnson Burek.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would at this time like to introduce Mr. Dominic Loya.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So we are going to be discussing the transportation improvement programs Update, Billy, if you can put up the tip, please. Presentation. Be 1 second. So as was stated, this is for amendments to the Transportation Improvement Program. We do have a couple this time. We have LC 00380 for federal fiscal year 2028. Lead agency is NMDOT. This is for the I-25 Engler interchange ramp construction. So this is for an addition of interchange ramps, lighting, and safety measures. And this is simply to move the project forward 1 year to federal fiscal year 27. And this project will have an effect on performance measure 1 safety targets. We then have LC 00330 for federal fiscal year 2027. This is an NMDOT-led project. This is for I-10 bridge replacements. So it is to replace multiple bridges along I-10. The change is just in one of the mileposts. It's going from milepost 136.18 to 135.3. And this project will have an effect on performance measures to the state of good repair. We have LC 00540 for federal fiscal year 2026. This is a Doña County-led project. This is for local bridge replacement. So this is for bridge 7721 to completely replace and remove. Part of the changes are to remove bridge 7703. It'll increase funding for construction in federal fiscal year 26 to $2,300,000 by $2,369,766 for a total funding amount of $8,768,632. And this project will have an effect on performance measures 2, state of good repair. And because of removing the bridge, we have LC 00541 now, which will be for federal fiscal year 2028. This is also Doña County. This is local bridge replacement phase 2. This will be to replace bridge 7703. The change will be for federal fiscal year 27 to add $1,809,297 to the project. This project will have an effect on performance measures 2, state of good repair. The BPAC did recommend approval at their last meeting. TAC also recommended approval at their last meeting. MPO staff requests that the governing board approve this series of amendments. I will now stand for any comments or questions.
All right, thank you. Do we have any comments or questions from the board? All right, I have a question since I'm new here. On those 2 bridges, where are they?
Chair, if I may, it's I-10 over Fair Acres Road and I-10 over Bouts.
Okay, thank you for that. Seeing no other questions. Oh, sorry. No. Okay. All right, thanks. I don't see any other questions.
All righty. Roll call, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
All righty. Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson-Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamados,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes, Mr. Chair.
All right, thanks. So moving on to item 10, committee appointments, and we're in action to appoint a member of the Mesilla Valley MPO Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities Advisory Committee.
Mr. Ray will be presenting this, Mr. Chair.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Andrew Ray for the record. We have had a vacancy existing on the Mesilla Valley MPO Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities Advisory Committee, or BPAC, for several months now. We initially initiated a call for candidates back in November of last year, which that call for candidates terminated in December of last year. Unfortunately, that initial call for candidates did not yield any results. So MPO staff extended that call until February 2nd of this year, earlier this month. And I'm pleased to report that we now do have candidates to consider by the board at today's meeting. We have most of the candidates are present physically here, so we're going to call them up to the podium with your permission, Mr. Chair, to speak on behalf of their candidacy in alphabetical order by last name. So unless anybody has any questions. All right, very good, Mr. Chair. Then at this time, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Foote to come up and speak to the board.
Okay, thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Charles Foote. I live here in Las Cruces. We've been here for 7 years now. And when we arrived, one of the ways that I learned my way around this town was by riding my bicycle with the Bike and Chowder Club, which they meet in the plaza at Mesilla twice a week and take off and ride all over town. It worked out great. I was able to find my way around and find some of the bike trails and find some dirt to ride in as well. My bicycling experiences, I have ridden everywhere from New Zealand and Japan to Germany on organized rides, and grew up in Colorado riding everywhere. We currently live here, but we do have a home in Colorado, which we go visit every summer, and I do some mountain riding there. So that might preclude me from attending a meeting if it happened in June, July, August. I'd like for you to consider that, unless you can do a Zoom or something along those lines. I'm interested in bicycling and transportation in Las Cruces. I'm out a lot. I see a lot of e-bikes and e-scooters, and it's young people on them, and they've got their pack and they're going to school, I think, or to work. They don't need a car because they can have their groceries delivered. One of the things that concerns me is they're on roads that don't have designated bike lanes, so they're on the sidewalk. And they move a little faster than a regular bicycle and can interact with pedestrians, and they've got their earphones in. And I think we could do some education on, please don't do that, because you can't hear the cars coming at you. And maybe they should have a tail lamp and a headlamp, so as they cross curb cuts where parking lots are, people can see them. In my life, I've had a couple of incidents where I'm on a trail that crosses into a parking lot, and in one instance, I didn't get hit, I hit them because they pulled right out in front of me. That's my main concern with all this. This is a great place to ride down here, and I look forward to doing it for many, many years to come. And I hope that I can help you all to make Las Cruces a better place to ride. Thank you.
Did any members of the committee have any questions for Mr. Foote? Right, very good. At this time, Mr. Chair, I would like to invite Mr. John Gilkison to speak to the board.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Gilkison. I've been a resident of Doña County for 40 years, and I've been riding bicycles regularly for the last 10 years for both exercise and pleasure. And I enjoy using the bike trails a great deal, and because I do feel safer on them than I do feel on the highways, although I do ride on the highways also. I've seen several issues on the bike trails particularly that are concerning, which I think could use addressing. But one of the things I wanted to speak to you about today, which I think is an exciting idea, and it may be a little bit outside the purview of this whole committee thing that we're doing, and that's the building of a solar system model. They've done this on a bike trail in Australia, and it's world famous. And the thing about this is that because it's on a bike trail, it can be a much larger scale, and it attracts a great deal of interest. So I think the Museum of Natural History in the city of Las Cruces could be of assistance with putting this together. And I've designed 2 of these models already. I did one as I was the head of the Astronomical Observatory in North Texas State University, and I designed and built one there at the observatory. And then I did the solar system model. I designed the solar system model over at City of the Rock State Park. And it's nice, but it doesn't have the scale I'm talking about. So I just wanted to throw that into the mix. If I got on the committee, I'd be interested in seeing that pursued, if there is any interest in it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, at this time, with your permission, I would like to invite Ms. Andrea Holguin to address the board.
All right.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, my name is Andrea O'Gean. I was born and raised in Las Cruces. I've been here 52 years. Give myself away. I would like to first acknowledge my oversight. When I turned in my letter of interest, I didn't include the word facilities. So it's Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities Advisory Committee. After I turned in my application, I had the honor of meeting the mother of a young woman who had disabilities and was hit by a car when she was driving her car in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her name is Kayla Vanderham. And her family worked very hard, and they were able to pass Kayla's Law. Since then, the city of Albuquerque has enacted many different multi-layers of ordinance in order to make the city of Albuquerque a safer place to ride your bike. I am part of Velo Cruces. I'm a board member, and part of what I do is I manage an adaptive cycle program where we write grants together and we gift adaptive cycles to people with disabilities. Recently received $10,000 donation, so now we can offer cycles to adults with disabilities as well. My daughter is Grace. She has Down syndrome, and my greatest fear is that we would have to enact a Grace's Law, here in Las Cruces. When we're giving these cycles away to people that have a variety of different disabilities, including cognitive disabilities, it's very frightening. We do give them basic safety. They're often walking with their parents. Their parents are walking, so it's the pedestrian and the cyclist. We have some places that we can tell them you can go here to ride safely, you can go here or there to ride safely. But it would be wonderful if they could go many places. And today we had a bicycle, we're applying for bronze. So currently the city of Las Cruces has a bronze standing for a bicycle-friendly community. We're applying, we would like to move that up to silver. And while we were there today, a lot of the questions on that application are DEI. So whether or not there's equity, are you taking these things into consideration in your city? And so as the member of the BPAC, what I would like to bring is just the perspective of people with disabilities who are trying to use our streets to get, from A to B. I'll also say that many people with disabilities are not able to drive a car. And so if they're dependent only on our bus system, that can be challenging, difficult. They can be on there for extended periods of time. So being able to ride a bike safely somewhere provides them independence and allows them to get where they need to go. So I would just like to bring that perspective, and I can't think of anything else to say right now. Did anybody have any questions?
Nope,
Thank
I
you
don't
very
think so.
much for your
Thank you.
time.
Right. Mr. Chair, with your permission, I would at this time like to invite Mr. Ken Levine to address the board.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. This is my 5th winter in Las Cruces, but this is my first as a New Mexico resident, so I'll be spending most of the year here, except for some of the summer. And luckily, I landed on this side of town, if you will, so, and I'm in the area where there are many bike paths, good bike lanes, quiet streets, and believe it or not, in my experience, pretty courteous drivers. In 5 winters, I've probably been honked at twice. Cycling has always been important to me wherever I've lived, trying to commute to work, to organize a bike ride for conservation in one of the towns I lived in New England, doing overseas rides in different countries, and also a variety of charity rides and long distance ride training, mostly on the road. And I've kind of retired from the long distance rides, and now I'm pretty much a recreational and transportation cyclist. So I like to use my bicycle to run errands that most people might do by car, and bunch up errands, and also just to go for bike rides as well. And I also think I see the bicycle infrastructure through the lens of maybe a young family that is looking for a healthy way to spend time together, which the better infrastructure you have, the more that's going to happen. I'm always, when I'm riding the trails and roads in Las Cruces, I'm always thinking about not only how enjoyable it is, but how things could be better, both quantity-wise in terms of more paved off-road options, as well as connections between those options that are sometimes a little bit sketchy, like, for instance, on University Avenue, when you're linking Mesilla Park with the university itself, there's kind of a difficult area to negotiate for somebody without a lot of experience. And we need, it would be nice to have a trail from, say, the end of the Outfall Channel Trail to Veterans Memorial Park, because that would complete a really nice loop. I'm looking forward to helping, but also learning the process of facilities creation from concept to completion. And that's all I have. If anyone has questions, I'd be glad to answer.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For our final candidate, Mr. Howard Ward, he is not able to be here with us today, but he did send an emailed statement that he wished to have distributed for your review. I would ask the board to please review that, but staff is not going to be making any comments about the contents of that email. So I will give the board just a moment. All right, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, this is one of those awkward moments here due to the Open Meetings Act and Robert's Rules of Order where we have no other mechanism before us to make the selection other than for a member of the board to verbally make a motion to nominate one of the candidates before you by name. We will then require a second for that, and then the board will vote for that. So that's the procedure that we'll need to follow, Mr. Chair, and I will stand for any questions.
Can I ask if you could state everybody's name again, just so that everybody's
Certainly.
got it
Certainly,
fresh
certainly.
and maybe
It's also on page 91 of your packet, if you have that with you. But the first candidate who spoke with you was Mr. Charles Foote. The second candidate who spoke to you was Mr. John Gilkison. The third candidate who spoke to you was Ms. Andrea Holguin. The final candidate who spoke to you was Mr. Ken Levine. And then the candidate that we passed out the emailed statement was Mr. Howard Ward.
All right, thank you. I guess I'll entertain a motion from the board if anybody has a thought.
Mr. Chair, I would like to nominate Andrea Holguin.
All right. Any other nominations?
We need a second, Mr. Chair.
Sorry. I'll second.
All right, Mr. Chair. This is on the motion to appoint Ms. Andrea Holguin as the representative on the BPAC representing the bicycle community. Trustee Garcia?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson-Burek?
Yes.
Commissioner Gametos?
Yes.
Mr. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
All right. Thank you. And I would like to say for everybody who applied and showed interest, thank you very much. It's super important that, we hear from everybody, and I hope you'll continue to be active in the community. Show up to these meetings, show up to county meetings, show up to city council meetings, and help us out. Thanks.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'd like to echo the comments that you just stated, and I think each of the candidates brought a wide variety of skills and knowledge and just ideas and skill set that I think can help the committee and help us and help our communities. And so I greatly appreciate what they offer. And again, as you said, I hope they continue to be involved to help us. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, let me pull my agenda back up. All right, so moving on to item 11, discussion items. First item is 11.1, performance measures. Measure 1, safety, follow-up presentation from MPO staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll give it just a moment for our PowerPoint to come up. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Andrew Ray, again, for the record. The purpose of today's presentation is to follow up on the conversation that we had at the December 2025 MPO Governing Board meeting. That discussion centered around the adoption of the federal annual safety targets, and as part of that conversation, the board instructed MPO staff to do some research into how the safety targets are handled around the nation, what various approaches are to them, and how other MPOs and other states are dealing with them. Just to start off with a little bit of background about the safety targets themselves, they were first implemented as part of the Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century Act, or MAP 21. They were then reinforced in the subsequent transportation authorization legislation, which was the Fixing America's Surface Transportation, or FAST Act. MAP 21 actually was a relatively brief transportation authorization bill, and so the current federal rules were not published until the FAST Act was already into effect, and they were published on March the 15th of 2016 and went into effect on April the 14th of 2016. So they have been around for this, if you're counting this year, for 10 years now. Now, federal law 23 CFR 490 requires MPOs to establish safety targets for all public roads within the MPO planning area within 180 days after the various respective states establish their targets. Targets will be established in coordination with the state to the maximum extent possible. And MPOs can have the option to support the state targets, or they have to establish a numerically specific target for their particular planning area. So the numerical component is very important because that is a statutory requirement. The MPOs have to set a specific number that they are looking at for monitoring and tracking going forward. We can't just have sort of a generic a motion that we're adopting a target. We have to specifically state in the motion what number we are doing. So that's why in the annual reports or in the annual target setting, when we're supporting the state's targets, those numbers are all specifically quoted to the board as part of that process. There are 5 performance measures required by federal law: number of fatalities, rate of fatalities, number of serious injuries, rate of serious injuries, and number of non-motorized fatalities and non-motorized serious injuries. Now, there are a couple of other factors that are going on in the larger national conversation surrounding these targets or adjacent to these targets. One of them is the Vision Zero network, which is a very large and broadly expansive national campaign to promote the Vision Zero philosophy. The Vision Zero philosophy is that all deaths on the transportation infrastructure are preventable, and all steps shall be taken in order to prevent deaths upon the transportation network. However, one of the things that we have noticed in conversations both here locally and around the nation is there does seem to be a little bit of blending between the target adoption and the Vision Zero philosophy. They are not the same thing. The Vision Zero network is not a governmental initiative, and it's not a regulatory document, but the philosophy and the movement provides guidance and best practices and policy frameworks to support the Vision Zero philosophy. Target Zero is the state of New Mexico safety campaign. It's basically the New Mexico branding of the National Vision Zero movement here within the state of New Mexico. The state intends for its Vision Zero campaign to inform actions to help the state be in compliance with the federal safety targets. But again, Target Zero by itself is not a regulatory document, and it does not come with any sort of governmental mandates behind it. So Vision Zero and its associated policies, they're not a replacement for compliance with the federal safety targets. Vision Zero is a policy statement. The federal safety targets are compulsory, and we must, every MPO in the nation must consistently adopt them on an annual basis to remain in compliance with the federal regs. Now, following on from the guidance that was provided to MPO staff at the December meeting, first of all, MPO staff spoke with AMPO, or the Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations. They are our national lobbying organization in Washington, D.C. We wanted to find out what their experience and observation was as far as how other MPOs around the nation are handling them. AMPO staff did confirm to Mesilla Valley staff that most MPOs around the nation are consistently supporting their respective state targets. That is not universal, but in the main, the vast majority of MPOs are doing that. However, on kind of a more positive side, that was certainly news to us. AMPO staff indicated to us that they did not believe that there would be any negative fiscal penalties for an MPO that set an independent target that failed to that failed to meet that target. However, there will be additional reporting requirements for setting an independent target. AMPO did point us in the direction of several MPOs that they thought that would be a good idea for us to talk to with regards to how they are handling the federal targets. I'm going to mention 3 of them here today. One of those was the Boston region MPO. AMPO thought that Boston was setting an independent target of 0, but in speaking with Boston MPO staff, it turned out that that was not the case. What they are doing is they're basically doing the same thing the Sea Valley MPO has done historically, in that they are voting year over year to support the state of Massachusetts targets. However, the difference is that the state of Massachusetts, as a unit, has adopted a policy of a long-term goal of 0. So they are working their way down towards a 0 target. But Boston MPO is not setting independent targets separate from those of the state of Massachusetts. And according to the information provided to us by Boston MPO staff, they have no intention of ever setting an independent target. They are just going to support the state. The second MPO that I'm going to reference today is the Minneapolis-St. Paul MPO. It actually has a little bit of an unusual nomenclature from my perspective and experience. It's just simply called the Metropolitan Council, but I'm probably just going to refer to them as the Minneapolis MPO. Minneapolis MPO stands out because they are setting independent targets. They are not supporting the state of Minnesota targets in their actions. However, they are closely coordinating their targets with Minnesota NMDOT, or Minnesota NMDOT. I just say NMDOT by reflex. I apologize, Mr. Chair. By Minnesota DOT. Minnesota DOT has been very supportive of the actions taken by the Minneapolis MPO. What Minneapolis is doing is they are setting an annualized reduction every year, reducing their target by a certain formulaic amount, which, according to the information I got from Minneapolis staff, does have some degree of vagary. So I couldn't explain this like that there's a particular bell curve that they are operating off of. I don't think that's the case on the basis of the information, but they are setting a reduction every year from a baseline year of 2019. So their targets, they said, are explicitly aspirational. They are not directly tied to expectations, nor are they necessarily tied to the data that they are observing of what is in fact happening on the ground in their MPO. Their ultimate goal is for a target 0 in a target year of 2050. Then the last MPO that I'm going to reference today is the Sarasota, Manatee, Florida MPO. I'm just going to call them Sarasota for shorthand. They're the only MPO that we spoke to that is actively setting a specific target of 0, and they started doing that relatively recently in 2023. I say that it's actually a little bit of a mixed bag what they're doing, whether they're supporting the state target or whether they're setting an independent target. They represented it to us as they're setting an independent target. However, Florida DOT had already started setting their federal target to 0 at some point previous to this, and most of the MPOs in the state of Florida also have a 0 target, so it's kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other as to whether or not Sarasota is setting an independent target or whether Sarasota is supporting the state targets. It's kind of a does it really matter, I guess, kind of question because everyone is setting the same target of 0. MPO staff also did speak with NMDOT staff this year about this topic, and NMDOT at this stage, there's been some personnel turnover, as you can imagine, over the course of 10 years, and they are now more open to the possibility of Mesilla Valley MPO setting an independent target than they were in the past. However, they do ask before we set any concrete or firm intentions, there is going to be a safety data, not just a broad safety conference, but a specific safety data summit hosted by NMDOT and UNM at some point in the first part of this year. The date that was quoted to me was April, although we're getting kind of close to April here right now, so I haven't heard anything, so I wouldn't be surprised if the summit doesn't happen until May at this point. I don't know if Mr. Love actually he's indicating no. But the request from NMDOT is that this MPO not necessarily come to any particular intentions or decisions until after we've participated in the Safety Data Summit. As I said, currently what I had mentioned to me is April, although I wouldn't be surprised if it is May. MPO staff will report back to the board what we learn at the Safety Data Conference. One of the things, though, that I do want to mention here and now up front to the board is an item of lingering concern is the reporting requirements for setting independent targets. There is a potential danger that we would be forging a new frontier. Our conversation with NMDOT was that we would submit our annual safety report that everyone's familiar with as part, or to serve as our annual reporting. And NMDOT indicated that they thought that might prove satisfactory, but we do not know. And it's going to be, that is something that we're going to be heavily investigating this year to try to ascertain. But that was a point of ambiguity that lingered with all of the MPOs that we spoke with, because as I said, Sarasota, Florida, which is the only one that we spoke to that is setting a target of 0. The state of Florida is also setting a target of 0, so it's ambiguous as to whether or not Sarasota is having to do the extra level of reporting. Minneapolis it's a very, very different situation in their relationship vis-a-vis the state of Minnesota. They are actually sort of a quasi-state agency. Their council is appointed by the governor of Minnesota and has to be confirmed by the Senate. So they have a lot more connection into this, direct connection into Minnesota DOT as opposed to what we have here. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of reporting parallels we're going to have there. And then as I mentioned, the Boston MPO is just supporting the state target, so they don't have any information to provide as far as what additional reporting burdens there might be. So I just wanted to mention that, as that remains the top item of lingering concern for MPO staff at this time. But that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to stand now for any questions.
All right, thank you for that presentation. Question from the board?
Thank you, Andrew, and to the staff for doing all this extra research and looking into this. I know I had brought it up, seeing if we could, in the December meeting, do something, and I know Councilor McClure was very adamant about seeing what alternatives we had. So at this point, and I'm glad that you reached out to NMDOT for reporting, but we don't really have any more information on that, and how do you propose that we go forward?
Well, Mr. Chair, Trustee Johnson-Bjork, I think we do have more information now than we did in December, for sure. I think we do, because we have that broad assurance that was not just stated to us by AMPO, but also was reinforced by Minneapolis and by Sarasota, that it does not appear that there are, we have our attorney here, so I don't want to say for sure, because you know how you can get in trouble if you speak in absolutes. But it does not appear that there would be fiscal penalties to the MPO if we set a target and failed to achieve it. And that's the critical thing of, again, there's the difference between the Vision Zero policy and the actual target that we are being tracked and held accountable to. They're related, but they're not the same thing. So it doesn't sound like that there would be a penalty, a fiscal penalty to us, but that does not mean that there's not a danger of us going into nonconformity. If what happens, and I mean, we're just speculating here because we haven't had really that much of an opportunity to really go in depth with NMDOT about this, because they basically said they wanted us to wait until the Safety Data Summit. But it is conceivable that what could end up happening is that we submit our annual safety report as our data monitoring, as our data package to the state and to FHWA. The danger is that FHWA has never been on the receiving end of our annual safety report, and heretofore our annual safety report, it was not being graded, if you will, by anybody for any particular reason other than review by the board if the board thinks that it's been satisfactory, which historically the board has always been very pleased with the annual safety report. But that's not the same thing as making sure that it ticks off all those federal boxes. So we have not had an opportunity to have FHWA ever look at the annual safety report before, so we don't know if it will pass muster with them. And that's the concern that we have, is if it does not, for whatever reason, we have already gone past the 180-day limit that statutorily we have to do, we could then go into nonconformity with the federal regs with potentially bad consequences for the good standing of this MPO. So it's, I think we know more, but I think we need to do our due diligence. And I mean, this is on staff at this point. We're still very much in the information gathering phase. But we need to do our due diligence and make a sober decision at the end of this as to how we want to handle the safety targets going forward. And I will say, we do not have all the information necessary here and now to do that. So the next steps is we need to continue following up. We need to attend, which MPO staff has every intention of doing, attend and participate in the Safety Data Summit, have more conversations with NMDOT about this, and find out, rather than just having a sudden meeting with NMDOT where they were not anticipating what it was that we were going to be asking them, have another meeting with them where they've had some time to give their stance on it, due thought, and then report that back to the board. And I mean, we don't, as the board's aware, we don't do the safety targets until the end of the year anyway. So we've got plenty of time to be able to do the analysis and work through what ultimately it is that this MPO board decides that it wants to do.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I have a question. So when you say that we're afraid of falling out of compliance with federal regs, is that because we didn't meet our target, or because we needed to do some extra reporting and that extra reporting was burdensome and we didn't get it done on time?
Mr. Chair, it would be because ultimately in the scenario that I sketched out, the nonconformity would be that we did not satisfactorily provide the reporting data that we're obligated to provide within the time limit. In case our annual safety report does not in fact satisfy the federal requirements for all the things that we have to do, which one of the issues that we face is FHWA New Mexico is very personnel strapped right now. They have very few people on board. It's actually one of the concerns that we have later on this year as far as getting our notices to proceed done on time, is that are there going to be enough warm bodies in FHWA New Mexico to even get that done? So adding then on an extra question to them about, hey, can you guys take a look at this and let us know? We could send it to them. I just wanted to caution the board, we shouldn't necessarily just assume that they're going to have a chance to look at it in advance, because there is that statutory 180-day limit. And if we go past that, then we definitely are non-conforming with the regs.
Sure, so I guess why would adopting a different, sounds like the concern is that if we adopt a different goal from the state, say the state says 5 and we say 0. Why would us adopting a different goal from the state increase the amount of time that it takes to prepare a report?
Mr. Chair, that's because if we support the state targets, then the entirety of the reporting burden is on the state and we don't have to do it. The annual safety report historically has been a document that we do voluntarily ourselves. It's just MPO staff work product. It's not a federal obligation, whereas potentially that could shift, and then that would be a mechanism that we would be attempting to support or to conform with federal requirements if we started to use it in that manner.
Okay, so to sum up, if we set our independent target, we now have to do the report, whereas if we just say we support the state target and then the state does the report on our behalf.
Yep, that's exactly correct, Mr. Chair.
Got it, thanks. All right, seeing no other comments or questions, I guess we'll move on to 11.2, an MPO basics presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would at this time like to introduce Mr. Dominic Loya.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Dominic Loya again for MPO staff. So we'll be going over the major work products that come before the board. A lot of these are over a few years, so, and some of you have been through a couple of them a couple of times. So just in general, to start with, so metropolitan planning organizations, as we've discussed, are federally mandated. They're state designated planning agencies in areas with a population over 50,000. There are 5 MPOs in the state of New Mexico. We have El Paso, Farmington, Mesilla Valley, Mid-Region, MPO, that's the Albuquerque area, and then we have Santa Fe. Both El Paso and Mid-Region are transportation management areas. They have over 200,000 in population. So that's where the demarcation line is between transportation management areas and what we are, which is a small MPO, is 200,000. So the MPO, as you've seen in your MPO basics books, is created by a JPA between all the member jurisdictions. So Town of Mesilla, City of Las Cruces, Doña County. It specifies the terms of the intergovernmental cooperation in the MPO and the role of the MPO and MPO staff in transportation planning in the area. Additionally, it also outlines the financial responsibilities for each member of the MPO. The MPOs are required to have bylaws to govern their internal operations and procedures. So the bylaws were updated last with the new JPA that went into effect on January 1st of 2023. And of course, we are in the process of updating those bylaws again. NMDOT establishes a 3-year cooperative agreement with each MPO. The cooperative agreements establish the terms of the financial grants to each MPO. And staff generally interacts with the NMDOT liaison for most issues related to NMDOT or FHWA. Unfortunately, the last liaison left last year, so we were waiting for a new liaison, but we are still working with the government unit of NMDOT. So these are the required work products. Then their update schedules. So updated every 5 years is the public participation plan and the metropolitan transportation plan. So the public participation plan must be updated before beginning the metropolitan transportation plan update. So generally that happens about 2 years before the metropolitan transportation plan, the MTP, is basically finalized. And then now, this is a change from the last time. Updated every 4 years is the open call for projects for TIP. The TIP is updated quarterly, as you just did earlier today. Updated every 3 years now is the Title VI plan. Updated every 2 years is Unified Planning Work Program, which will be later this year. And then updated every year are the annual listing of obligated projects and the annual performance expenditures report. So the public participation plan defines how the MPO will conduct any public involvement activities. The goal of the PPP is to guide MPO to have transparent and predictable transportation planning process that is accessible and equitable to all impacted or interested parties. The PPP must be adopted and updated before the commencement of the MTP, and it is always updated on a 5-year schedule. It was last updated in 2023, so the next update will be in 2028. An MPO Title VI plan establishes compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, all related environmental justice regulations and directives. The Title VI plan serves as an assurance to the U.S. Department of Transportation that persons are not excluded from the planning process. The Title VI plan also details a complaint process for Title VI violations, and it must be updated every 3 years. The plan was updated in 2024, so we would be updating it again in 2027. Our Title VI plan is available on the website and is both in English and Spanish. The UPWP, the Unified Planning Work Program, is a biennial document that outlines transportation planning activities to be conducted by staff, both those that MPO staff will oversee as well as those that MPO staff will participate in without overseeing. The UPWP must be consistent with the MTP, and the next one will be adopted this year before the new federal fiscal year. So, in the so I apologize. This title is, so this is a transportation improvement program. So we will see different types of projects in the transportation improvement program, depending on federal resources and state resources. We do, so just to highlight a few, RTP, which is Recreational Trails Program, and the Transportation Alternatives Program. Had a couple. We have Elks Drive Trail Project, the Las Cruces Lateral, which is finally being started, and then this is also where Safe Routes to School coordinator, and they are under the transportation alternatives. Congestion mitigation, air quality. In general, we don't get a lot of those because we are not a TMA, and we only get a chance to see those funds when the TMAs do not use all of those funds. And then on the State Transportation Project Fund, it'll be projects like La Llorona, the trail extension. Right now, currently phase 3, which is to move it past the head wall of the lateral that goes by there. So it is to move it basically another couple hundred feet. And after that, it'll connect with the sidewalk that is there in Mesilla. The current UPWP went into effect on October 1st of 2024. I'm sorry, that's the current TIP. The Transportation Improvement Program is federally funded and regionally significant projects within the MPO area. Completed projects, we had the Highway 70 corridor study in US 70 Phase 5. Ongoing, we have maintenance projects, University Avenue and Arrowhead Drive. Future projects are things such as Roadrunner Transit, Operations Center improvements, Dripping Springs out in Doña County, roadway improvements, the US 70 rehabilitation, their next phase. So phase 5 was Main Street from Camino Real to Elks Drive. Next phase will be beyond that. I-10 bridge replacement, which we discussed earlier today, and the Engler interchange, which is coming very quickly. Projects that are 5+ years are Arrowhead interchange, Mesa Grande, and then the I-10 rehabilitation project. So that would be a complete rebuild of I-10 from Las Cruces to the border with Texas. So the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. MTPs are long-range regional transportation plans covering a minimum 20-year planning horizon. Federal law generally requires MTPs to be updated every 5 years. MTPs must be consistent with federal transportation law, cite applicable sections of the law, identify facilities that function as integrated transportation networks, and emphasize those facilities that serve national and regional transportation functions. Consider the 10 planning factors as they relate to the 20-year planning horizon and describe how performance measures and performance targets are used in the MTP to assess the transportation system. So it has to include a system performance report evaluating conditions and performance of the system with respect to the performance targets. We have to incorporate strategies to improve performance of existing transportation facilities to relieve vehicular congestion and maximize safety and mobility of people and goods. It includes strategies to enhance transportation and transit. It has to incorporate a financial plan that demonstrates how the MTP can be implemented, indicate the sources of necessary funding to carry out projects in the MTP, and recommends any additional financial strategies to support project implementation. So, and it includes financial strategies dedicated to maintaining not only existing infrastructure, but also projected future infrastructure. So Mesa Grande is future infrastructure that will be coming fairly soon. So it must be shown in the MTP. It examines implementation of environmental mitigation activities. Scenario planning, while not required by federal law, is strongly encouraged by both FHWA and NMDOT. The Federal Transit Administration and transit planning for the future is also required in it. And then the FHWA and NMDOT encourage MPOs to address emerging issues, which can be anything from automated vehicles to stuff like charging stations, things like this. The previously adopted MTP is mobility, or 2045, so this is the previous one, which was adopted July 15th of 2020. The current MTP was adopted last year on June 11th, 2025 by the governing board. The next MTP will have to be adopted by the governing board in June of 2030. I apologize, the slide didn't get corrected. The governing board is the governing body for the Mesilla Valley MPO. It is the approving body for all federally mandated documents. The governing board ranks all projects submitted through the call for projects process, which we'll be having here in about 2 months for the Transportation Project Fund. The purpose of the MPO Basics book is to provide a quick reference manual on MPO-related documents and materials for members of all MPO committees and MPO staff. MPO staff is happy to provide updates to the MPO Basics book to our committee members as needed. I will now stand for any comments or questions.
All right, thank you for that presentation. Do you have any comments or questions from the board? No. All right, seeing none, thank you again, and I guess we'll move on to board updates. Any updates, comments from the board? No. All right, seeing none, NMDOT updates.
Harold Love, New Mexico DOT. I have one project update. New Mexico 101 University Avenue multimodal project. The work is continued on University Avenue between Avenida de Mesilla and South Main Street. One lane of eastbound traffic will be open on New Mexico 101 between Avenida de Mesilla and South Main Street, and traffic heading westbound is detoured to West Union Avenue, and access will be maintained to all residents and Zia Middle School. And the project is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2026. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. MPO staff updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Andrew Ray again for the record. I have 2 things that I want to mention to the board. Those of you who've been with us since last year will know that we've had gone on an extensive process to amend the MPO bylaws to reflect the new status of the MPO and the transition out of the city of Las Cruces. We unfortunately have hit a delay on work on those bylaws because of some other work that the executive committee perforce had to take up urgently in the latter part of last year. Thankfully, we're at a point now where that work is, at least for the time being, concluded, and we are able to refocus in on the bylaws. I will be reaching out to the members of the executive committee tomorrow to try to schedule a meeting of the executive committee to get back started with the bylaws work. We do now have several new members of the executive committee who will need to be brought up to speed on that work. But I am hopeful that that staff will be given authorization by the executive committee for us to bring them out for public consumption, see the light of day. I'm hoping at the March governing board meeting, but that's a hope, not a promise. It depends on the will of the executive committee and where they see things as standing right now. The second thing that I want to mention is to piggyback a little bit on what Mr. Loya said about the TPF, and if I could actually turn to him. We have had the TPF call for projects issued by the state of New Mexico. We do have the MPO timelines for those. If Mr. Loya could please relay those for the benefit of the board. We have already given a presentation about them to the TAC. As the jurisdictional staffs, they'll be the ones actually executing that work, but I do want the board to be aware of the timelines.
Mr. Chair, members, so we are having the project feasibility form meeting on March 31st within MDOT. This will be to basically check at least part of the application and go through getting the project feasibility form signed and move forward. Then on April 10th, the applications will be due to the MPO. They will be presented at BPAC on the 21st, and then BPAC will give their recommendation on them. This is 21st of April. Then on the 7th of May, TAC will receive the presentations and give their recommendation to the board. And then you will see them on May 13th, at which point we will be requesting approval and a ranking order of those projects. And then we have to have them to NMDOT by May 31st, which is a Sunday. So it will be basically that Friday the 29th beforehand. This also gives any of the jurisdictions time to correct anything that anything that the board or committees felt might make the application stronger. And then after that, it will be in the hands of NMDOT, and all the jurisdictions should hear back by September.
Thank you, Mr. Loya. And that concludes staff updates, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much. I guess there's a second section of public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So we'll take that now.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. I'm George Pearson. I am Chair of the Bicycle Pedestrian Facilities Advisory Committee, but I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm also Vice President of Velo Crucis, a local bicycle advocacy organization. Thank you for appointing a member to the BPAC. And I was enthused to see a number of applications submitted. So I would like to encourage those people to come to our meetings. We have 2 chances for public comment. One of the main purposes of the BPAC is to accept public comment and make sure that we forward those to the appropriate entities. And having public participation is an important part of the process. So anybody, I invite them to continue. And also, if they are interested in bicycle things, they can come to Velo Crucis activities. We have the Hub Community Bike Shop, which is open 3 days a week, Saturday from 9 to 3, and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 4. You can just drop on by and visit with us, and we can clue you in and tell you where you might want to participate. For example, the City of Las Cruces is working on a Safe Streets for All grant that should be active in the next month or 2. And that'll look at safety for traffic in the city of Las Cruces area and the big emphasis on active transportation. So that's another opportunity that's coming up that will be real important for active transportation in our area. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else for public comment?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I just want to thank you for your vote of confidence and say that I look forward to working with you all to make Las Cruces a safe place to walk and ride your bike. Thanks.
All right. Seeing no other public comment, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Do we need a roll call?
Mr. Chair, you can do it by fiat. We're at the end of the agenda. You can just declare us adjourned.
All right. With that, the meeting is adjourned at 2:31. Thank you.